Welcome to another episode of the Crypt Corners Book Corner, and this is part of the summer reading series. My guest has been here before, and so you'll see her bio before you get to listen or watch our conversation. See you in a bit. Welcome back to the Crypt Corners Book Corner, Joan.
Thank you. So nice to see you again, Ada.
Yes.
Ada.
Yes. And so today we're talking about your book, His Gift.
Yes, ma'am.
Please tell us more. Oh, I like that. I like that.
It's interesting how the cover design turned out because I did not want pianos on it.
Okay, tell us why you didn't want pianos on it. Please.
For every child that grew up hating piano lessons, I was afraid they'd go, oh, I'm not going to read that one. So, but it is perfectly matched with the theme and the story and what I had envisioned. They didn't choose and select, and they decided, the publisher decided, I'm not doing this well, decided to use this. It is a beautiful cover. Yes, it is.
It is.
So,
it is.
Anyway, but it was kind of humorous. God has a sense of humor, does he not?
Yes, he does. You can say that again. So tell us more. His gift. Whose gift? Why a gift?
Yes. The story is based on really a universal theme that I didn't quite realize as I began developing the story. The story is based on a true story from my mother's life. And after she passed, I recognized that conflict that was so poignant because she was a very talented musician, a pianist, and using this gift. I mean, sometimes we have been given gifts and we don't really adequately use them.
Yes.
My mother was a very determined, passionate person about her gift. Her gift, she thought, was her gift. And so I guess you can see there was an evolution in that understanding throughout the story.
Yeah.
Because she had won the privilege of playing a Rachmaninoff concerto with the Detroit Symphony. She auditioned as a senior in high school in the fall. And she won that honor and she was so excited. But you see, this is that passionate, she was the competitor. I mean, she trained like an Olympian would train for the Olympics, an athlete. It was that serious to her. She wanted to be the best. She wanted to become a concert pianist. And back in those days, girls didn't all go to college. Many did not. And so she was seeing this as a platform, as a step into her career.
Okay.
Well, there were other surprises that happened because sometimes when we have dreams that are ours, that we're holding on tightly to, things happen, right? Okay. The stock market crashed. This was 1929. And at first it didn't impact her. She was oblivious to what was going on. That was the world, right? It didn't have anything to do with her.
In my little corner. Yes.
Oh, she was a 17-year-old, very self-centered, I would say, like many of us are at that age. It's all about me. Anyway, her dad ended up losing his job and the house being sold, and he knew a way that he could feed the family by moving into the city of Chicago from their little suburban hometown outside of Detroit. It turns out that the piano doesn't fit. It has to be sold. They have no place for it. They can't afford to keep it. And it was of value, and someone did buy it. So if you stop and think about this young girl who's put her heart and soul into her gift, Well, I'm not going to tell you how the story turns out.
Yes,
I'd
please.
like you to
Don't.
read the book.
Please
I
don't.
won't tell you how it turns out.
Wow.
Honestly, when I was writing this, because all of that was based on truth.
Yes.
I had diaries. I'd heard her stories as a child. I listened to that Rachmaninoff concerto. She would play it on the old discs, you know, the old 78 records, and there'd be tears. And I didn't quite get it. I just thought it was a very beautiful piece of music. And if you don't know it, go to YouTube and listen to it, because it is a Rachmaninoff passionate, very melancholy, but beautiful piece of music. Okay, so I grew up knowing there was a mystery about this music, but I
Yes.
didn't know what it was until later it told me the story. And
Wow.
so, did she ever get to play that concert? That's what the story is all about. And what do we do when we dream and hope
Yes.
and we prepare? And you see, the thing is, when you see that God has given you something, a talent, a gift, a good mind, whatever it is, and you work really hard
Yeah.
to use it, and then something comes in and interrupts all that. What do we do as believers? She'd been raised to believe in God. It's like, why? Why is this happening, God? I don't get it. And I did everything I knew to do,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So ultimately, there is a time and a place where she recognizes it's not her gift to own.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's a good
Wow.
summer read.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. So, I mean, you dropped hints and nuggets as we've talked, but what do you want people to take away from it? Because I chuckled when you said, oh, well, you do everything and then you get an interruption, more like a disruption or maybe even an eruption.
Yes. Yes. When you try, and I've been in this experience, and I think most of us have,
Yeah.
where we have done everything we know to do within our power.
Yes.
We've even gone to the Lord, we've prayed, we've tried to figure out what will break us through so that we
Yes.
can achieve this goal, this dream, this passionate hope. And I think for me, I've learned in my journey, as my main character Molly learns, that when we give it to the one who gave the gift,
Yes.
then we have let go
Mm.
and allowed him to use our gift, however that looks. It may not be our plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I believe that when we yield our lives, then good fruit comes. I
Amen.
mean, yeah.
Amen.
We can look at Romans 8:28 if you want to get to the Bible.
Yes.
But you have to let go of what you thought God was supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
That's so hard, isn't it?
It is. It is. I like the way you put it. Let go of what you think God was supposed to do. It's almost like sometimes we come across like thinking we know the big picture, and we're able to say, God, this is my suggestion on how you should handle this.
Or my demand. It's like,
That's
please. Yeah.
that too. Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you. So I know that your book is available on Amazon.
Yes. It's also
Where else?
Barnes and Noble and christianbook.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun to write, and you will see. I was rereading it just a minute ago. I wrote a little afterward at the end of the story,
Can you
because
read that to us?
yes, I will.
Please. Thank you. I'd like to hear it.
Because the thing is, as I said, God is faithful to us, but sometimes it doesn't look like we thought it should look.
Yes.
When I finished writing this manuscript, and I sat on it for a long time because I didn't see in the natural how it should resolve. And so, and I know in my mother's life it did, but it wasn't in one moment in time, as a book would tell it. It
Yeah.
was through her years of living.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The legacy of the main character in this novel is a testimony to her many prayers. The story is based on a true character, Mildred M. Isle, known as Molly in the book. Oh, that's funny too. I couldn't call her Millie as I wrote the story because that was my mom.
Yes.
Too close. So to create the fictional character, because a lot of the book is fiction, but based on truth, I changed her name.
Yes. With an M. Yeah.
Yeah, still an M, but I just the O here.
Yes.
Despite Mildred's unfulfilled dream in real life, her son was profoundly inspired by her passion for music. Mildred was blessed to be able to see her son, Robert Isle, work hard, develop his talent, and earn recognition in the world of professional music. Do you see her prayers being answered? I won't go into all of it. He gained a lot of recognition, and I go through all the things that he did.
Yeah.
He had an incredible career. So I will say, I will jump to the end after I talk about all of the things he did. My brother's profession was greatly influenced by our mother's talent and positive, you can do it philosophy. Our mother was also practical, having lived through the Great Depression, and she assisted my brother get an education degree so he could teach as well as perform. Robert was able to make his dreams come true, completing the circle of family history, and Mildred's legacy was fulfilled in the next generation. I give God the praise and glory for answering our mother's prayers and giving me the opportunity to tell the story. I will say she was also still teaching. She was an incredible teacher, and she was still teaching piano lessons at her diagnosis of cancer at 82. So she was a gift to many, many children and adults that took lessons from her. Her music was not wasted, not for a moment. So she had to let go. I don't know that God could have pried it from her grip any other way. I said to somebody, I did a Mother's Day post on Facebook, and they had read the book, and they said, "Oh, thank you for these pictures. It just helps me understand your mother more." And what blah, blah, blah. And I said she was a indomitable force.
A force to reckon
was a
with.
force major. Yes, she was. So anyway, that's tidbits of the story without going into it. It's pretty fast read, and there's a lot of action, and she works really hard to try to solve the problem. And that's the interesting twists and turns as the story evolves.
Okay, well, thank you for joining me in the Crip Corners Book Corner to share your book and your mom with us. Indeed, she sounded like a gift from him to us. Thank you.
Yes, that she was. And I will say it's not depressing. You know, I've had people say, "Oh, the Great Depression, why would anybody want to read about the Great Depression?" But it's not about that. It's about the truth that sometimes, no matter, it's the message is carried and delivered through a musical venue, but it is applicable to every one of us when sometimes things don't go as we had planned. Yeah. And then what do we do? What do we do with that as believers? I hope you will enjoy it. It is an encouraging ending.
Nice.
So,
well, thank you again. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me again, Ada.
You're welcome. God bless you. His Gifts. I like the title and, the story behind the cover, what she didn't want versus what it ended up being. And the fact that it's based on a true life story. Oh, it's interesting. Just thinking about that, I just realized that you can get copies of her book from A, B, or C, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or Christian Books. Okay, you know how I like to play with letters and numbers. But I'd love to read your comments on this video, on other videos. And you take care. God bless you. Bye now.